Hello, B1 family, and welcome to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. My name's Daniel Jackson, and today I want to get into. I was doing some research, and I'm gonna tell you what I come across. It's got me kind of shaking my head a little bit. I'm gonna show you what I was turned on to, and you let me know what you think. It looks like the rapper Old Dirty Bastard from back in the day was part of the Wu-Tang Clan. I'm gonna tell you, it seemed like to me that the government had him killed. The government under George Bush Jr. I think it was Jr. had him killed. Now, I ain't a conspiracy theorist. Trust me, I don't really get into conspiracies. I just like to follow the facts where they lead me. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, I'm going to read the goal of this channel. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you a couple of videos. So this is purely for educational purposes only. I don't, want to get into any copyright problems or copyright strikes or whatever they call those things. It's purely for educational purposes only. Okay? Now, the goal of this channel is to build an unstoppable army of knowledgeable, black, melanated people in America and around the world that understand that we as melanated people have one enemy worldwide, and that is the system of racism, white supremacy. Our mission through education is to replace this evil system with a system of freedom, justice, and equality as laid out by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We will need your help in building this knowledgeable army. You can help by subscribing to this channel, by donating to this cause through Cash App or PayPal, and by sharing the videos and knowledge that is shared here. In doing so, together, we help fertilize the melanated, enslaved, colonized minds of black melanated people. Fertilize mentally enslaved, colonized minds of black melanated people worldwide, creating the perfect mental conditions for our children to grow up in a better, more balanced world. Okay, and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's video will be in the description. Okay, so let me get into this. Now, sovereign. If you're a sovereign people, then you have sovereignty, meaning that you have absolute power and control over your land and your people. Your people has sovereignty. You're sovereign citizens. In Europe, because it's a European continent, the Europeans are sovereign, meaning someone who's foreign to Europe couldn't go to Europe and start telling those people what to do. They don't have control over the Europeans. Only the Europeans have sovereignty in Europe. China, same thing. Australia, same thing. I'm going somewhere with this. Now, when we get to America, who has sovereignty in America? Who has sovereign power in America? Now, I'm gonna show you a definition of sovereign power and what that actually means. Okay, so sovereign power adjective. Sovereign has everything to do with power. It often describes a person who has supreme power or authority, such as a king or queen. God is described as sovereign in a number of biblical translations. In addition to describing ones who have power, the word sovereign also describes power. To have sovereign power is to have absolute power, that is, power that cannot be checked by anyone or anything. Nations and states are also sometimes described as sovereign. This means that they have power over themselves. Their government is under their own control rather than under the control of an outside authority. Now, that's important, especially for the topic that I'm finna talk to you about. Okay, now for anybody who don't know who Old Dirty Bastard is, he was a rapper back in the 90s. Yeah, the 90s. And he's dead now. What happened to him was he fell off a stage and hurt himself, and he needed a pain. Somebody gave him a pain pill, and he went to sleep and never woke up. Okay, that's what happened to him. But what I found out was, now I'm gonna tell you, I didn't hear about none of this or anything, but it just so happens in me doing my own personal research and learning what I learned, you know, on my mother's side, her father, which is my grandfather, Blackfoot Indian, and her mother, my grandmother, Sioux Indian, right? We're American Indians. Now, I know, you may not have been, you may be new to this channel, and you may not understand what this channel is all about, but it's called the Big Black American Secret. And the secret is, you are an Aboriginal American. If you are a Black American, you are an Aboriginal American. As stated in the definition in the year 1828 of American, you're an Aboriginal American, okay? We are not West African slaves. That was a story told to us by Europeans to steal our identity, our resources, our land, and our labor, okay? I'm not going to get into that part in this video, I don't think, but that's the one of the points of this channel. Other than destroying the system of racism, white supremacy, and replacing it with the system of freedom, justice, freedom, justice, and equality, the goal of this channel is to help educate you on your true identity. Now, getting back to sovereignty, being that we are Aboriginal Americans, we come from the dirt. We are absolutely sovereign on this soil. Now, the United States of America, the corporation, the corporation that operates on this soil, the foreign corporation that operates on this soil, don't want you to know, black man and woman, that you are sovereign, that you have absolute control on this continent. You know what I'm saying? Now, and I was talking about Old Dirty Bastard from the musical group Wu-Tang Clan, or the rap group. I'm gonna play you a video, and it's gonna kind of get you caught up on who he is and where I'm headed, so to speak. Okay, so I've read you the definition of sovereign power, or what it means to be sovereign. Okay, and yeah, so here we go. Let me get this thing queued up a little bit. See if we can get on with the getting on. Okay.
Native American from Massachusetts. So, in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, right? Just wanted to show you something. I know you guys know a lot about.
I'm sorry about the quality of
rap
that.
and, you know,
it's hard to really see.
Is, right? So, in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, as you see here, now here's a little bit of the ancestral history to Old Dirty Bastard.
The drugs, the crime, the poverty. These were tough neighborhoods, but there were also places where his family had been for countless generations. In fact, Dirty could trace his lineage back to a time when there was no New York City, just the wilderness of North America. He was 1/4 Shinnecock Indian.
Then he started mentioning things that y'all didn't understand. He said he got his grandfather Cuffy, Chief Cuffy. Let me take you to Chief Cuffy. Him and his brothers, Fred Cuffy and them, they were some wild boys back in the day.
My great-grandfather was an Indian chief, Shinnecock, from the Shinnecock Reservation in Long Island, Riverhead. So that's where my mother met my father in Long Island. Dirty just carried his heritage to the limit. You know, we're Indians. I say, and they used to say, yeah, you're Indian, we sold Manhattan. I said, well, listen, they sold Manhattan for trinkets. So you always said, well, we're going to try.
I'm gonna rewind that back a little bit because it was a lot of light on the screen. Let me see if I can't fix that.
So, in reference to Shinnecock tribe, right? Just wanted to show you something. I know you guys know a lot about, rapping.
Can you? I don't know if y'all can y'all see that? Those are black folks.
Right?
Those are black
So,
Indians.
in reference to the
Shinnecock
tribe, as you see here, now here's a little bit of the ancestral history to Old Dirty Bastard.
The drugs, the crime, the poverty. These were tough neighborhoods, but there were also places where his family had been for countless generations. In fact, Dirty could trace his lineage back to a time when there was no New York City, just the wilderness of North America. He was 1/4 Shinnecock Indian.
Then he started mentioning things that y'all didn't understand. He said, you got your grandfather Cuffy, Chief Cuffy. Let me take you to Chief Cuffy. Him and his brothers, Fred Cuffy and them, they were some wild boys back in the day.
My great-grandfather was an Indian chief, Shinnecock, from the Shinnecock Reservation in Long Island, Riverhead. See, that's where my mother met my father in Long Island. Dirty just carried his heritage to the limit. You know, we're Indians. I say, and they used to say, yeah, we're Indians. We sold Manhattan. I said, well, listen, they sold Manhattan for trinkets. So you always said, well, we're going to try to get it back. I said, Rusty, please. You're not getting it back, so forget it.
The Indian that sold Manhattan to the white man, my grandfather.
So you heard it, Old Dirty Bastard, his mom, Shinnecock, his grandfather. Alright, he even sang it in the rap song you just heard there. Alright, so you
Now,
can see there's
in
a
a
lot
minute,
of
I'm gonna fast
history
forward
here in New England with copper-colored tribes.
because the sound's gonna go out.
That's my mother's father.
Okay, well, right here, I'm gonna fast forward because he's talking about something else, and I'm on 14.
He died at 103.
Okay. And this is a little segment when he was on the Howard Stern show.
Tonto Indians? Shinnecock Indian.
Really, you're Shinnecock?
Yes.
Oh, Shinnecock.
Yeah, could have fooled me.
That's the kind I am. So you should be Big Chief Bastard, not Old
His family was here when Columbus landed.
Now, I don't know if you caught that or not. He said, you should be Big Chief Dirty Bastard. Because his grandfather was Indian chief from Shinnecock Indian, right? Very important.
Is that right?
Yes.
So you are not a black man, you're an Indian.
I'm Indian.
No kidding. Now, this is a shock.
We are learning more today.
Hey, you look totally black.
Yeah, it's definitely an Indian.
Wow.
Definitely.
So the Indians and the Firewater don't get along. You know that.
So there you go, from his own words. He's a Shinnecock Indian.
Now, that video is from someone who I follow. His name's Kurimio Aha. Please subscribe to his channel. Follow him because, boy, I tell you, they go into research back in documents just like the 1400s, Spain and England, Europe. And I'm going to tell you, this is a true researcher, this fella, Kurimio Aha. In fact, the name of this particular video was Part 1 from Indigenous American to African American by Kurimio Aha. If I get a chance, I'm going to see if I can put that video in the description. I probably won't get a chance because there's so much in there already, but anyway, that's a portion of that video. So, Old Dirty Bastard is a Shinnecock Indian. His grandfather was Chief Cuffy. Now, in the video, Howard Stern said, well, that means that you should be called Old Chief Dirty Bastard or something like that, jokingly. But if you think about it, he's right. Him or one of his relatives is technically a chief. That's the lineage. They come from the line of a chief. You understand? I'm stressing that for a reason because it's got a lot to do with sovereignty. You understand what I'm saying? Now, we're going to get into another video so you can see where I'm going with this. And I appreciate your patience. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can do this real quick. Okay, so we're going to go down, drop that. Get rid of that. Go to search. Now, Okay, now here's a little video where George Bush is asked what does sovereignty means, and he acting like he couldn't describe it. I think he didn't want to give a definition to it. Okay, but I'm gonna pull this up.
My name is Mark Trahan. I'm the editorial page editor of the Seattle Post-Intelligencer and a member of the Native American Journalists Association. Most school kids learn about government in the context of city, county, state, and federal. And of course, tribal governments are not part of that at all. Mr. President, you've been a governor and a president, so you have a unique experience looking at it from two directions. What do you think tribal sovereignty means in the 21st century? And how do we resolve conflicts between tribes and the federal and state governments?
Yeah. Tribal sovereignty means that. It's sovereign. You've been given sovereignty and you're viewed as a sovereign entity. And therefore, the relationship between the federal government and tribes is one between sovereign entities.
Okay, see, if somebody asks you to give a definition of something, you can't define it with the same word. If somebody say, please give me the definition of a hat, you can't say, well, a hat is a hat. You know, it's just a hat. You know what I'm saying? You ain't saying nothing. In fact, you know that and folks, I do apologize. My computer's acting crazy. That's why it got a little dark here for a minute, but it'll come back up in a minute. So we'll just let that ride. Okay, so George Bush Jr. didn't give the definition of sovereign. Sovereign, like we went over earlier, means absolute power and control on your land. You have absolute power and control on your land. Okay? Now, okay, I'm sorry about that. Absolute power and control on your land. So, and I'm pretty sure that's why he didn't get into the definition. Now, we're going to go on a little further now. Because you tell me if you see what I see, okay? So, Old Dirty Bastard just told Howard Stern and all of his viewers that he was a Shinnecock Indian. And his grandfather was, well, and we saw earlier that his grandfather was Chief Cuffy from the Shinnecock tribe, right? In Long Beach. I mean, up near Manhattan somewhere. Okay, so let me get back on what I'm getting back on. All right, so let's see. Okay. Okay, now this video is he's almost unrecognizable because he's gained weight, and from you can tell in this interview, he just come out of jail. This is talking about Old Dirty Bastard now. But pay attention to what he says.
I just wanted to know if you've learned anything new in jail while you were in jail, or
Learned niggas trying to kill a nigga, man. Period.
yeah, how so?
Government, man. I don't know, G. They on my ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to shake these cats. You know what I'm saying? These are the big cats. You know, I'm talking about these motherfuckers is President Bush and them niggas, right? You know what I'm saying? Niggas on my ass, G. For real, G. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no smiles, G. You know what I mean? You don't see me grinning at oh shit, G. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, G, I got to shake these niggas.
Said, rest in peace, 2004. So when I saw that, I was like, that's what made me look up the definition of sovereign, because let's just say it's true. He broadcast to the world that he himself is Shinnecock Indian. his grandfather's Chief Cuffy, his great-great-grandfather, which makes him, he's in the line of chiefdom. You see what I'm saying? Now, when people in the music industry, they are rewarded given a lot of money, a lot of fame, because they are doing a job for the system of racism, white supremacy. Their job is to keep us distracted and focused on bullshit. But when an artist who has a lot of fame and a lot of exposure do something that's against the system, shit, they got to put that dog down, and they got to put him down quick. You understand what I'm saying? Because artists have a lot of influence over the minds of the young. You understand what I'm saying? The minds of the young. That age group, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds and younger, man, you get that crowd activated on this level, this information, them your warriors. That's your warrior class. Them your soldiers. Right now, they are your soldiers without direction. That's why they kill each other, these gangs. Crips, Bloods, Vice Lords, Disciples. You see what I'm saying? They have warrior spirits without direction. You know? Without male direction. Which means they're going to basically end up killing themselves. When that shouldn't be, I mean, killing each other when that shouldn't be the case. But anyway, getting back to what I'm getting back to. The United States government obviously saw the threat. And so, like I told you earlier, his sister said in the video, that in the video I was playing, but the sound went out, so you didn't actually see her say it. So I'm gonna tell you what she said. She said that he was on stage rapping. He fell off the stage. Somebody gave him a pain pill, and later in the evening he died. And she said that's what killed him. That must have been what killed him. And right before that, old dirty bastard was like, the government after me. George Bush. Come on, man. That, to me, I ain't a conspiracy theorist, but he himself was afraid of George Bush. The same George Bush who would not give you the definition of sovereign. You see what I'm saying? That's a little suspect. No, that's a lot suspect. You see, people, you got to understand this. On this continent, North America, South America, and the Caribbean islands, the Black American is sovereign. We have absolute power and control over this land. They don't want you to know who you are, and they definitely don't want you to know the power you possess. It's as simple as that. People, you own the right channel. Get caught up. Learn who you are. Learn who you are. I'm going to tell you, back in forget what year this was. If my computer was acting, I would pull it up. But there was a law created, or an act, called the Racial Integrity Act. Under this act, black people were punished harshly and or killed for saying that they were Indian. For claiming indigenous heritage, they were killed. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is how serious it is and was. People, you are an Aboriginal American. You are not a West African slave. That's the racist Europeans' way of throwing you off of the fact of who you are. So again, so they could steal your identity, your labor, land, and resources. I don't know how you came to be on this channel, but you're here now. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and hit all to be notified when I go live or do another video. But it is so very important that you know 100% who you are. You understand what I'm saying? I have two ways you could learn quickly from me. There's a $49 package, which is videos. It's a list of videos, and they're in a specific order. The same way that I was introduced to them is what you'll get from me. And then I have a $199 class where it's the same videos that you'll watch, but it's a coaching class. We meet for 4 weeks, 1 day a week for about an hour. We'll go through the material that you saw in the video. It's called, I consider it coaching because it's kind of like hand holding, you know. I'm gonna hold your hand through the process, help you get through the downturns, because you're gonna go through the 5 stages of grief. Because for one, just like I'm telling you right now, you're not a West African slave. You're an Aboriginal American. But because when you finally start to realize who you really are, it's like a part of you is dying. Your old false identity is going to die, which means you're going to be depressed. But at the same time, you're learning about your new identity. But it won't cancel out the fact that your old identity is dying, and therefore you must go through the 5 stages of grief. You know, I forget them. I may say I'm mixed up, but it's denial, bargaining, something else up, and then eventually you'll get to acceptance. But it's 5 of them. You can look them up, 5 stages of grief. You understand what I'm saying? But it's so very important that all of us, if not the majority of us, get on the page and understand exactly who we are so we can move differently. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is so very important. I wish I could stress to you more how important it is. But again, you are here. You're on the right channel. I'm glad you're here. Again, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and hit all. Look at Dr. Francis Cress Welson's video. In the thing, it explains to you about the system of racism, white supremacy. And why is it important to see that video? Well, it is because of the system of racism, white supremacy that you don't know who you are. It is because of the system of racism, white supremacy, the tactics used is why we go through all the hell we go through on this continent. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So, in the comments, please let me know what you think. Do you think ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, was killed by the United States government or not? I mean, like I said, it was very short videos, but, you know, if you like me, it was very eye-opening. You know, I learned a lot when I saw it, and I never heard of these things. You know what I'm saying? Didn't hear about them at all. Okay? And also, too, for anybody who's confused, the Indians in our history book, and the ones they put on, you know, in the movies, you know, the Mongolian Indians, Chinese, that's exactly what those people are. Those Indians are a Mongolian breed of Asian that came across the land bridge called the Bering Straits from Asia. Paleontologists say about 12,000 years ago. So they're not Aboriginal. They didn't come from the dirt. They migrated here from Asia. See what I'm saying? That's why they look Chinese. They're Asian. Okay? That's no coincidence. But the racist white Europeans put those people in the history books so that they can claim that those are the Indians, the nation's first people, and therefore we are not. We are West African slaves. Subscribe to the channel. Go back and watch all of my videos. Get caught up. Because there's hints and clues in all of them. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to speed up your learning process, pick one of the packages, the $49 one or the $199 package. My email is in the description. Just drop me an email, say I'm interested in the $49 or I'm interested in the $199. It doesn't matter. But we all need to get this information in us so that our children know for sure who we are. You understand what I'm saying? Very important, people. So I think I hit all my points. And again, in the comments, tell me what you think. If you think Old Dirty Bastard was assassinated by this government, put that. And then also you can put B1 if you're black first. And when I say black first, I mean black over everything. See, because this is what's going to help us. There's a divide in the black community. You have, for lack of better words, you have the house Negro and you got the field Negro. Okay? The house Negro is comfortable. House Negro don't want shit to change. These are types of peoples that's, you know, the uppity, the made it successful black Negroes who don't want no changes. They're usually Republicans, but they could be Democrats as well. These are the people who think that the police are fine, good people. They don't kill black people. There's just some bullshit going on. And, you know, these are these people. And then you have you're field Negroes, which I'm a field Negro, like Malcolm X said. I won't change because I know deep down in my heart something wrong. You feel what I'm saying? And what's wrong is the system of racism, white supremacy is beating our asses down every day, and we don't know it. You know, you see what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you that we want to get rid of this divide. We need a large majority of black people to all be on the same page. And here's how that can happen. If all black people claim black first. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody's truly black. You understand what I'm saying? Because I went around my whole existence thinking I'm a black man. Yeah, like I'm black, like the color of this thing right here is black. But nobody's black. You know, most people are, I mean, all of us are shades of brown. From light-skinned, damn near white, to mahogany, blue-black. Even our melanated people in Africa. A lot of them are darker than even us, but most of them aren't black. But anyway, before I had this understanding, I went around thinking I was black. When I learned this information, I found out that I was brown. And all of us are just various shades of brown. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. But you know, so it's very important that you know who you are, and in the confusion, and then we move forward, and you know, make some changes. And the first change is to get rid of this system of racism, white supremacy, and replace it with the system of freedom, justice, and equality, as laid out by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Okay, so almost lost my train of thought. So when you're black first, you're black over everything. Black over your religion. You could be whatever religion you want, but be black first. Black over your political stance. You could be Democrat, Republic, liberal, conservative. Don't matter. Just be black first. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Just be black first. Be down for the black cause first. And that's what's wrong with a whole bunch of people, blacks looking people in political high powers. These people aren't black first. President Obama was not black first and still ain't. You see what I'm saying? And most of your mayors, your governors, people in high places, they are not black first. The reason they're in the positions they're in is because they're not black first. Because if they was black first, the people who have power above them, usually white people, would not have allowed them to be in those spaces and places. You see what I'm saying? Racism, white supremacy works best when you put a black face on it. I shit you not, people. We had Obama in the office, in the presidential office, for 8 years. He did not one single thing specifically for black people. Racism, white supremacy operates at its best when it's got a black face on it or when it's hidden. And that's the sad, ugly truth about it. And that's some things we need to change about it. You know what I'm saying? And you can start that change right now. Join this team of knowledgeable, melanated people with the intent on getting rid of this system of racism, white supremacy. Now, we don't have true black media. Old black media has sold us down the river. People like Roland Martin, who only wants to have positions in white people's establishments. No. Old black media is gone. We can't depend on them. You understand what I'm saying? We are the new black media. We're grassroots. You understand what I'm saying? So because you're now inducted into the army of B1, you're part of the new black media. So you may be asking me, so what's my job in the new black media? Your job is simple. Your job is to share this video and any and all other videos that you see that are that's going to help your people, and especially this cause. But you are a distribution arm for the new black media. And then once you start to learn more about who you are, you'll become a content creator, somebody who bringing information to the table, especially about your personal story, things you found out about your life. You start making videos about that, sharing them with me, and I'll share it out to other people. You become distribution arms. You know, it's like, because that's all media is. Large media companies, they broadcast out information. So you are part of the broadcasting of these messages. That's how you contribute to this cause. So while you're on your social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, while you're having fun with your peoples, also just inject a little information here and there. You know, you ain't got to go crazy. You don't have to, you know, be obsessed with it. You just sprinkle it in and just keep having fun. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and on that note, I hope you understand what I'm saying. And again, if you think Old Dirty Bastard was killed by George W. Bush, put that in the comments. Okay? Thanks, folks. Peace out.